Hello everybody, welcome to this instruction video. This video I'd like to show you part 2 of Baby Elements. Baby Elements has been designed by Sandra Kaya from Hooks and Yarn. I'll post a link to the written pattern in the video description. For part 2 we're going to be making, well, in essence kind of this part of the square, and the yarn that I'm using is Scheepjes Callista and Scheepjes Soft Fun yarn in combination with 2 hook sizes for this week. We'll start off with a 4.5mm hook, and then at a certain point we'll go over to a 5mm hook. So going up a hook size really helps to prevent these linen stitches from pulling in. So that's why we're going up a hook size at a certain point. I'll take you step by step through all the rows that make up part 2. I want to thank you for watching. I hope it's a useful video for you. Round 12, we're going to start in any marked corner. That's the chain 1 space that you've marked. Going to start in that chain 1 space with color 2. That's the yarn I have on my hook, color 2, and we work in there a single crochet. Now this first one is of course a standing single crochet. That's the first stitch. Now I can remove the marker. I don't need it anymore. Completing the corner, going to do a front post double around the double here from 2 rows down. Yarn over, around that stitch, just getting under it properly, work a front post double. There you go. And then another single crochet in that same chain 1 space. There you go. And that's 2. Complete the corner. So it's the single, the front post double, and the single. That's the corner. Chain 1. I'm going to skip the next stitch. That's that white stitch. Going to skip that, and then in the chain 1 space here work a single crochet. So you've got, I've just snagged a bit of my green yarn, and there we go. Just want to make sure I'm just in the space. Work a single crochet. There you go. Now I'm going to make a leaf, a small leaf, and that means I'm going to do 2 front post double crochets around this same front post where you just made the corner around. So around that stitch, I'm going to do 2 more front post doubles. To yarn over, and then I'm kind of going to have to help this just by folding your work. That's 1 and 2. So around that same front post, that same double, work 2 front post double crochet. You can kind of see how that makes that little shape there. That's your first little leaf. We're going to be making a few more of these as the pattern grows. We're going to skip the next stitch. So let me just check, that's that stitch. I'm going to skip that stitch, and then here work a single. I'm going to work 2 singles. The first here is in the front post, and then the second. There you go. So 2 single crochets. I'm going to now work a front post double around the front post double from round 10. So yarn over, around this front post, work another front post double. Skipping a stitch to the back, that stitch, skipping a stitch and work a single, and again your single here is in a front post stitch. The first one, it's 1 and 2. Again, front post double around the front post double. Skipping a stitch to the back, work 2 singles. 1 and 2. We're now at the center of our work. You've got these 3 front post stitches there, and around the first and the last one I'm going to work a front post double 2 together. The yarn over, so around this first one and the last one. It's going to skip the middle one. there, over, pick up, over, and then skip this center one and go to the third stitch, the third front post stitch. Got 3 loops on my hook, take them all off. I'm going to skip 1 stitch to the back. See how I'm skipping a stitch there, and then work 2 singles. That's 1 and 2. And this time your second stitch here falls on that front post. Again, a front post double around this front post double here. Just going to do similar on this side as on the other side. Skip a stitch to the back, skip a stitch, and work again 2 singles, 1, 2, here last front post double. As you see, you've got 2 here and you've got 2 there. We're now going to skip 2 single stitches to the back, so that's 1, 2 skip. So I'm skipping 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then work a single crochet in the front post stitch you have here. And a single crochet in the first chain 1 space here. So you've got another chain 1 space before you get to the corner in that first chain 1 space. Now what's important, we're not going to work a flower petal of a leaf like we did there. So your corner is asymmetric here. So don't worry about that, don't get all worried. So after that single crochet in the chain 1 space, chain 1, then you've got another chain 1 space here, also in that chain 1 space work a single. And now we're almost at the corner, chain 1, so you've got again single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, and then you're at the corner in which we're going to work a new corner. So you're going to skip this single crochet and then go to the corner where you're going to work a single, so that's in that chain 1 corner space. Going to work a single, and then around the front post stitch, or around the double crochet I should say, work a front post double, and work another single crochet here in the back in that chain 1 space. And did I have the right space there? Yes, I did. And now I can remove this stitch marker also, because I don't need it anymore. And now this corner here is the same as the corner that I started with. So that means you can now work the single crochet, then work the flower petal, and then come here and work this entire edge. So take this round nice and steady and be mindful of the corner, how they worked. Go all the way around, and when you get here after your last single crochet, you're going to do a chain 1 and then close on the first stitch. Round 13, I have the white yarn on my hook again, and we're going to start in any corner, and then specifically that front post double crochet. Going to start in there with a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. That's your new corner. So in there, in that front post stitch, work a single crochet, chain 1. Now this chain 1 here is my new corner, so I'm just going to hook a stitch marker over that. So just over that entire space, just going to hook a stitch marker, so then I can find it easy in the next round. And then in the same stitch, work another single crochet. So that's my first corner. Now we're going to slowly but surely start making the linen stitch background in this pattern. So I'm going to start with a chain 1, Then we skip the first stitch, so that's that one there. Then in the chain 1 space here, work a single crochet. Chain 1. We're going to skip the next stitch, which is going to be this one here. And then in the first stitch of these 2 from the leaf, I'm going to make a single. See, so that single crochet is in the first of the 2 that make up the leaf. Chain 1, again, skip a stitch, then work a single crochet in the stitch immediately after that leaf. Chain 1, so you can see how you're really starting to make a bit of a linen stitch pattern there. That was chain 1. Now a front post double around this front post double here from round 12, I believe that is. No, from round 11. So come here, front post double around this front post double from round 11. That front post double we're going to of course work around this first one, not that second one, so of course this first one. So around that first stitch work a front post double. Then skip 1 stitch to the back, work a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2. Again a front post double around this front post double here, skipping a stitch to the back, and then work 1, 2 singles again. Again a front post double. That's this last front post double here before you get to the center. Front post double around that. Skipping 1 stitch, that's going to be that one. And then your next single crochet should be right here in the middle. So that's in that double front post double 2 together. That should be your middle stitch right now. Now we're going to work the other way. So a front post double around the first front post double here, skipping a stitch to the back, skip 1 stitch, and then work 2 singles, 1 and 2. Another front post double, skip a stitch to the back, and work 1, 2 singles, and here the last one, front post double around that last one. Going to skip a stitch to the back again. See, I'm skipping a stitch, and then work a single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1. Then a single crochet in the next chain 1 space, that's here, single crochet, chain 1, again skipping a stitch, then go to your next chain 1 space, work a single crochet in there. I've actually missed that chain 1 space, so I'm just going to fudge this. See, I don't actually have, this is my single crochet of the corner, I've actually missed that chain 1 space there on a repeat. That happens, so I'm going to fix this by just working it in that single crochet and not in the chain 1 space. Then we're at the corner again, and here we work a single crochet, chain 1, I'm just going to hook a stitch marker on again, so I can just find it easily in the next round. And then work another single. Now this corner is the same as the corner we started with, so I'm going to work the same here on this repeat, and here I actually do have a chain 1 space there before the corner, you see, so I just missed it on this repeat. So that last chain 1, you're going to work that single crochet in there, and then you work the corner. So go all the way around, and then here you're going to work your last single crochet in the chain 1 space, which here I also actually do have there. So work that single crochet in there, and then skip the first single here, and then go to the corner to work a single crochet, chain 1, single, all the way around, and then close on that first stitch. Round 14. For round 14 and up to almost in part 5, I'm going to work with a 5mm hook. So I'm going up a hook size now. This is to prevent the fabric from pulling in, because we're going to be making more and more of these linen stitches, and they will be make your fabric pull in. So to prevent that, I'm going up a hook size. I'm going to start in any chain 1 corner space. We're going to start with half a corner. We'll finish the corner when we come back. I'm going to start in that chain 1 space that we've marked there. Start in there with a single crochet. And this first one is, in my case, a standing single crochet. There you go. I'm going to remove the stitch marker because I'll be able to find this corner space easily when I come back at the end of this square. So to start the repeats on this straight edge, chain 1, then skip the first stitch, that's this one, and then a single crochet here in the next chain 1 space. Chain 1, and again skipping the stitch, go to the next chain 1 space and work a single crochet in there. Chain 1. You can see how we're building up the linen stitch pattern. But now we're going to do is we're first going to be working on this leaf again. On those 2 front post doubles, going to work a front post double 2 together. It's quite a mouthful, so yarn over, and around this first one, pick up the yarn and take off 2 loops. Then yarn over, go to the second and work as though it's a front post. Take off 2 loops, 4 loops on your hook, take them all off. To the back we're going to skip 3 stitches. We're going to skip 3 stitches, chain 1, and then we work a single crochet. So I'm going to skip 3. So let me just check which ones I've worked. So there's that one I've worked. I'm skipping this single, this chain 1 I'm skipping, and that single, and then here in the chain 1 space before this front post stitch, work a single crochet. Chain 1, and we're skipping the front post here and go in the next stitch. So it's immediately after. Work a single. Around the front post here we work a front post double crochet around this next front post double there. Skipping a stitch to the back, it's going to be that stitch there, work 2 singles, and the first here is again in this front post stitch. That's 1 and 2 singles. Front post stitch is up next, work a front post double around that again. Skip 1 stitch to the back, that stitch, and now in your center 3 stitches, going to work a single crochet in each of those. Skipping here, so that's 1, 2, 3, single crochet. So now you're halfway. You can see here's the halfway point. you've got 3 singles there. Going to continue with this, the same idea as we did on this side, we're going to do on this side. So around the next front post double, that's that one, work a front post double. Skipping a stitch to the back, skipping 1 stitch there, work 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and that second one here is in the front post double, so that's a checkpoint marker for you. Again, a front post double. This is your last front post double you're at now. Going to do a front post double around that one, so that's the last one you've got. That's the front post double, your last one. I'm going to skip 2 stitches to the back. That's 1, 2, skip. See, I'm skipping 2 stitches. 1, 2. Then here in this front post stitch, going to work a single crochet. Chain 1 and single again immediately in the next stitch. So not skipping anything. Immediately in the next stitch, in that single crochet there, work a single. Chain 1 and then a single crochet in the next chain 1 space. Chain 1, single crochet in the next chain 1 space. Chain 1 and now a single crochet in the first single before the corner. So we're going to skip this one here. You've got 1 single crochet, you've got 2 left, so we're going to skip the first one and work in the second. That's the easiest way for me to say it. Work a single in there. Now we're at the corner, and the corner is a single crochet, front post double, and then a single. So in the chain corner space, I'm just going to push the stitch marker to the side. It's going to be this single crochet, then a front post double around this front post double from round 12, around this center one there, front post double, and then come back to the chain space and work another single crochet, and that makes your corner. You can remove the stitch marker now, because now I don't need that anymore. This last single crochet you made, this one here, is the same as the standing single we started with. So this entire edge that you've just made, repeat this on the other 4 also, and then when you get to your come round, you're going to do half the corner. You're going to work a single crochet in the chain 1 space here, you're going to work the front post double around this one, and then close on your first stitch here. Close on there with a slip stitch or an invisible join. Round 15. This round we're working with the white yarn again. Got that on my hook. And we're going to start in any corner, and the corner is here your front post double crochet. That's your corner stitch. In there, going to work a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. That's the new corner. Let me just grab a hold of my yarn here. So single crochet, chain 1. Now I'm just going to mark this chain 1 stitch so that I can find it more easy later on. Just going to hook stitch marker over that entire space, so just over your work, and then work another single crochet in the same stitch. So that's my new corner, and I can also easily find it. So single, chain 1, single in the front post double here. We're now going to start working a bit of linen stitch again, and then work the detailed textured pattern. So to start the edge repeat, chain 1, skipping the next stitch is this one, in the chain space, in your chain 1 space, work a single crochet. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, in the chain 1 space, work a single. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, then in the next space work a single, and this space is before this front post double 2 together. Chain 1, so now you're going to skip the front post double 2 together and go to the chain space after it and work a single crochet in there. Again, chain 1, skipping this single here, go to the next stitch, next chain 1 space, and work a single in that stitch. So this one is just above your front post double here. Okay, to continue and or on this front post double here, so the one that's in the white there, going to work a front post double around that stitch also. You're going to have 2 stitches on top of each other. So you've got this single crochet in the space, and now we're going to work a front post double around that white front post double. Skipping a stitch to the back, so that's that single, going to skip that, then go here to the first, to the next stitch, and that's a front post double. That's 1, so that's the first of 2, that's 1 and 2. Got the white stitch here, going to work a front post double around that front post double, and then skip a stitch to the back, and then work 2 single crochets and 2. You're now halfway your work again. You can see here these 2 white front posts. We're going to work a front post double 2 together around that one and this one. So yarn over, so first the first one, take off 2 loops, yarn over, and then come to the second one, take off 2 loops, take them all 3, take them off your hook in one go. Going to skip 1 stitch to the back, that's that stitch, going to skip that 1 stitch, then go to the next, which is the first of 2 singles. I've just snagged my yarn, there. That's 1 and 2 singles. The second here is again a front post double. The next white stitch there, going to work a front post double around this white front post, skipping a stitch to the back, work 2 single crochets again. So I'm just going to skip a stitch to the back there, and then work 1 and 2. I have here my last front post double. I'm going to work a front post double around that one, skipping 1 stitch to the back, and that would be that stitch there. I'm going to skip that stitch, and then here in the chain space work a single crochet. So I'm skipping a stitch, and then your next stitch will be here in the first chain space. That's a single crochet in there. This most likely might just be a little bit hidden behind your work. Now going to work a chain 1, skip the next stitch, and in the chain space work a single. Chain 1, in the next chain space work a single. Chain 1, in the next chain space work a single. Chain 1, and work, skipping this stitch, in the stitch before the corner work a single crochet. So you see your next stitch should be, the corner stitch here. That's where your last single crochet goes. Now you're ready to make another corner. So that means single crochet, chain 1, I'm going to hook a stitch marker over this chain 1, hook a stitch marker over that there, and then in this space, on the same stitch I should say, work another single crochet. And I hope you can see how this corner is exactly the same as your starting corner here. So do take this row just stitch by stitch. We'll have more and more detail as this pattern grows, so just take it stitch by stitch. And when you get here to the end, you're going to repeat this 3 more times, close on your first stitch with a slip stitch. Round 16. For round 16 here, I'm going to use color 3. So you now have color 3 on your hook with a slip knot. I'm going to start in any chain 1 corner space with a new corner, which is a single crochet, a front post double, and a single crochet. So in the marked stitch, single crochet, I'm going to remove the marker, single crochet, around the front post, make a front post double, and then in the same space here to the back, it's a bit to the back there, another corner, so another single crochet to complete the corner. So single, front post double, and a single. I'm going to start with the linen stitch pattern. So chain 1, skip a stitch, it's going to that stitch there, and then work a single crochet in the chain space. Chain 1, skip a stitch, single crochet in the chain space. Chain 1, single crochet in the chain 1 space. Chain 1. I'm going to repeat this until we get to the front post. Chain 1. And that's that last chain space before the front post. I'm going to skip that single crochet and then make a single crochet in the front post here, with this little chain 1 there in between. Chain 1, then immediately in the next stitch, so stitch here, work a single crochet, then a front post double around this front post double here, so the green one in my case, to work a front post double around that stitch, skipping a stitch to the back. See, I'm skipping one stitch there to the back, then in the next 2 stitches work a single crochet. Around this stitch here work a front post double, so again around the green front post double here work a front post, skipping a stitch to the back. I'm going to skip one stitch there to the back, and then in the next stitch, which is your center stitch, work a single crochet. Next up, again a front post double around this green front post double, 2 rows down, skipping a stitch to the back, work 2 singles, skipping a stitch there to the back, and this is the first single and the second. Here your second stitch is in the front post double. Again, work a front post double around this front post here, to take off. I'm going to skip 2 stitches. Okay, actually first let me do a chain 1, skipping 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then here in the front post work a single crochet. You've got that front post double, chain 1, and then a single crochet here in this front post stitch there. Chain 1, then we're going to skip the single crochet immediately after the front post, that's this one, and then here in this space work a single crochet. Chain 1, single crochet in the space, chain 1, single crochet in the space, chain 1, got here single crochet in the last space, and then just to get to the corner I'm just going to work a new leaf here. So to make that last leaf we're going to skip those last 2 stitches. You see I've got 2 single crochets left before the corner. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually skip those, and in its place we'll make a leaf. You see here the front post double here. I'm going to work 2 front post doubles around that. So 1, and then the second one I want to stack on top of that, so I'm just going to move this entire thing, just move it a bit down. There we go. I'm just going to move it down so that above it here I can work a second front post double, and these 2, just like here, are going to form a new leaf. I'm just going to move them down, they are really nice together. And now we're going to go up to the corner, and I'll just show you the corner again. So here's the chain 1 corner space. There we go. In that chain 1 space we work a single crochet, then a front post double, which is now going to be the corner. So again, I'm just going to move this down, so really make sure that you have enough room in there, like so. Grab my yarn, come on. Then that front post double there is actually part of the corner, and then come back up and work another single crochet in the chain 1 space, and I can remove the stitch marker again. So this corner is pretty full from this side, but you can see that, so here this corner, which is the single front post double and the single, is actually going to be added when you come around last, and we're going to work those 2 front post doubles here and then close on that first stitch there with a slip stitch, because you've already made the corner. So this little unit here is the same as that little unit there. You can see how you just need to make that extra in the other corner. So go all the way around. You're really going to add a new layer of detail to your pattern in this round. Round 17. 17 is again with the white yarn, and we're going to start in any corner stitch, which is the front post double here in the corner. So you've got here the 2 from the leaf, you've got the single, the front post, and the single. So we're going to do that front post there. Start with a single crochet, chain 1. Chain 1 is your new corner. I'm just gonna hook a stitch marker just over that entire stitch, and then another single crochet in the corner. So that's your corner. Single, chain 1, single. We're now going to work a number of linen stitches. So I'm going to do chain 1. We're going to skip a stitch and then work in the chain 1 space a single crochet. I'm going to repeat this until you've done 7 singles. That's 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and 5. So rotate this here is 6, chain 1, and this last space here is number 7. There we go. I've now worked 7 single crochets here since the corner. You can see there. We're now going to work a front post double around this same front post double here. We've just finished with that single crochet, so around that stitch, a front post double. So that kind of means folding your work a bit back and completing the front post double. I'm going to skip a stitch and then work 2. I'm going to skip, let me just see which one. Yes, going to skip that stitch and then here work a single. I'm going to actually work 2 singles, and this first one here is in a front post double there. That's 1 and 2. Again, a front post double around the white front post double here from round 15. Skipping a stitch to the back, and there, see I'm skipping a stitch, and then in the center 3 stitches work a single. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So the center 3 stitches. Front post double around this white front post double here. Skipping a stitch to the back, work 2 singles. So 1 and 2. And see your second here falls on that front post stitch again. A front post double around this last white front post double I've got here, around that last front post double there. Work a front post around that. I'm going to do a chain 1, then skip 2 stitches to the back, and that here means it's that chain 1 space and that single crochet, which will bring you here to a chain 1 space where you work a single crochet in. I'm going to do this 4 more times. So chain 1, skipping a stitch, work a single, chain 1, single in this space, chain 1, single in this space, chain 1. So you've got there 1, 2, yes, and here now this last one you've got that single crochet there. Going to skip that. Then here you've got the first of those 2 trebles or doubles, front post doubles. Work a single crochet in there, chain 1. Skip the next stitch, and here in the last stitch before you get to the corner, work a single crochet. In the corner, work a single crochet, chain 1. I'm just going to mark that entire space there with a stitch marker, and then in the same stitch work another single. This corner is the same as the corner I had when I started. So go all the way around, and here at the end you'll work that last single crochet and then close on your first stitch with a slip stitch or an invisible join. Round 18. I have color 3 on my hook again, and again going to start in a chain 1 corner space with a single crochet in that corner space. I'm going to remove the stitch marker and then do a front post double crochet around the front post double from round 16. So that's this one here, front post double around that, and then a front, and then another single in that corner. I'm going to work a series of these linen stitches again. So that's chain 1. I'm going to skip that stitch and in the chain space work a single crochet. Chain 1, skip the stitch and a single crochet in this chain space. I'm going to do this until you've got 6 or 7 of these. Chain 1, chain 1, single crochet. Oh, wait, I've just snagged my yarn. Chain 1. I've got 2 more because I'm going to stop here before the front post treble. That's going to be my last one. Front post double, I should say. Chain 1, and here this is my last one. So this is in that before you get to the single crochet and the front post treble there, front post double. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do a chain 1, skipping both the single crochet and the front post double here. I'm going to make a single crochet in the stitch after. So that's this one here. See how you've skipped 2 stitches, and actually that second one there just kind of falls away. A front post double around this blue front post double here. That one. Skipping a stitch to the back, and that's there. Work a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, and 3. And the first of those 3 has fallen in that front post double there. So 3 single crochets. I'm going to work a front post double 2 together over this front post, that blue first front post double and this blue second one. So that one and that one. It's very similar to what we've done before. There's a front post double 2 together. Around here's the first one. And pick up, yarn over and come to the second one here. And take them off and take them all off. And then a single crochet and immediately in the next 3 stitches. So immediately in the next stitch, so you're not skipping anything to the back. So immediately in the next stitch, work 1 single. There's 1. Here's the second falls in this front post double, and the third here. So 3 single crochets. This last blue front post double also gets a front post double. Then skipping a stitch to the back, there, work a single in the front post double. Chain 1, single here in the chain space. I'm going to do 4 more. Chain 1, so here is once more, twice, 3, and 4 times. Chain 1, And now we're going to come down to the leaf. You've got here these two front post doubles. Work a front post double, two together over those two. So around the first one, pick up, front post 1/2 of the stitch, yarn over, come to that second one, pick up, take 2 off, 3 loops on your hook, and take them all off. We're going to skip 3 stitches to the back and then make a single crochet in the first of the corner stitches. If you just look closely here, you see that's 1, 2, 3 stitches that we're going to skip, and here you've got the corner, and that stitch there is the one you're going for. Just put my yarn on the other side. See, I'm skipping 1, 2, 3 stitches, and here in this is the single crochet before the chain 1 corner space. You work a single in there. You're at the chain space, and here you can make a corner. There's going to be a single crochet. Just going to take out the stitch marker, front post double, finished by a single crochet in the corner again. And if I just open up my loop, and that stitch is the same as the stitch where we started with. So repeat this edge on all 4 sides and close again on your first stitch. Round 19, I have white yarn on my hook, and we're going to start in the corner stitch with this front post double here. I'm going to start in that corner stitch with a single crochet, chain 1, and a single crochet. So single, chain 1. I'm just going to mark the chain 1 with a stitch marker. I can easily find it later on. And there we go. So that's a chain 1 space, and then another single in the same stitch. There we go. I'm going to start the straight edge again with a series of these linen stitch pattern here. Chain 1, skipping the first stitch, that's that single there, go to the chain 1 space and work a single crochet. Chain 1, the next space, work a single. We're going to continue this until we have 8 of these single crochets on the straight edge, and that's going to bring us to the next front post position. And this one, chain 1, here's another one, and I believe we need one more. Let me just check. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, you can see how you need one more here for this last space. That's chain 1, skipping this single crochet here, make a single in the chain 1 space, and now you're above the front post stitch here. You can see that pattern you've made there. Around this front post, work a front post double. 1, 2. Going to skip a stitch to the back. That's that stitch. See how I'm skipping a stitch? And then work the first of 2 singles. It's 1 and 2. Your first of those 2 singles was here in the front post stitch. I'm going to work a front post double again around this front post, this white front post double I have here. So there's a front post double, skipping a stitch to the back. See, I'm skipping a stitch there, work 3 singles, and these are your center 3 stitches. So 1 Here number 2 falls on your double 2 together, and number 3 there falls on the single crochet after. So this is here, so these 3 stitches are exactly in the center. Continue with the front post double, again around this front post double here. Work a front post double, skip 1 stitch to the back, see there I'm skipping 1 stitch, and then work 2 single crochets, 2 singles. The second falls in that blue front post double. Around the last white front post stitch, work another front post double. Going to skip a stitch to the back and then come to the next chain space. So immediately after this front post, you see that first chain stitch there. Going to work a single in that stitch. Skipping 1 stitch, and then work a single in the chain 1 space immediately after here. So that's 1. I'm going to work a whole series of them here. So chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single, all in the chain 1 spaces that you're working these singles. Chain 1, single, chain 1. The next one is here in the chain space that's before the leaf. You see here's the leaf, and there's a chain 1 space just before that. So work a single crochet in there, chain 1, and skipping the leaf, that's a double 2 together here. Go to the single crochet immediately after, work a single in there, and then chain 1, and in the last single before you get to the corner, work a last single crochet. That's that one there. So just to count, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 single crochets here between the post stitch and where we're now going to work the corner. Then the corner is again same as the previous one, which is a single, chain 1, hook up your stitch marker around that, there, and then work another single in the same stitch. And you can see how this corner is the same as the starting corner. Go all the way around, and here after you've worked your last single crochet in the stitch just before the corner, after that single, close on your first stitch. Round 20, I have color 3 on my hook again, and we're going to start in any chain 1 corner space with a new corner, which is going to be a single crochet, a front post double, and a single crochet. So in that chain 1 corner space, a single crochet. I'm going to remove the stitch marker, then a front post double around this front post double from 2 rows down, and then come back up and work another single in that same corner space. That's your new corner. You're going to immediately start by making a leaf on this edge, and that's going to be actually very similar to the leaf we've made here. So around this front post stitch, going to work 2 front post doubles. So 1 and 2. That means you kind of now have here a single crochet in between and then those 2 front post doubles. We're going to skip the corner single crochet, the chain 1 here, and that single. So that means you're going to be skipping 3 stitches. See the corner stitch, chain 1, and that single. Then come here to the next chain 1 space. We're going to work a single crochet. Chain 1, and another single, and we're going to work this until we have 8 of these singles. So that's 1, that's 2, this is 3, 4, my yarn is just in the way, 4, this here is 5, 6, and this is 7. Did I miscount that? Just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now one more, chain 1, and then a single crochet. We're going to skip this stitch here. I'm going to skip that stitch. Then a single crochet in the this front post stitch here. This is here is number 8. Yes, now it's correct. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 single crochets and chain 1s in between. I'm going to work a front post double around this blue front post stitch. That one. That's 1 and 2. Take off. I'm going to skip 2 stitches to the back. Skip 2 stitches. See there, 1, 2, and then work 2 single crochets. And this first one here falls in the front post double. That's the first one. So that's 1 and 2 singles. You see that first one's in the front post double. We're now going to work a front post double around this front post 2 together. We have here from round 18. So I'm going to yarn over. It means come underneath all of those and then grab them together and work a front post double crochet around all of those. I'm going to skip a stitch to the back. See, I'm skipping 1 stitch, and then work a single crochet in the next 2. So that's 1 and 2, and number 2 here is the front post double. Front post double around the blue front post double, that's this one here. Front post double around that. And now we're going to skip the stitches to the back and come here to the next front post, work a single in there. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, come to the chain 1 space here and work a single. I'm going to repeat that almost until to the end. I'm going to work chain 1 and then single crochet in the chain 1 space. Let me just move everything up a bit because the square is getting a bit bigger. Chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single in the chain space. See that one's above the leaf. Chain 1, I've got one more here. Chain 1, and then the last single is in the single crochet before the corner. See there, before the corner. Let me just count the singles. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 single crochets and chain 1s in between. So that's correct. And then in the corner, work a single crochet. I'm just going to remove the stitch marker, and then a front post double around the front post double, and another single in that same, oh, that went, oh, no, that went wrong, here in that same corner space. There. That's your new corner, exactly the same as this corner here. So start by working a leaf again. All of these stitches go all the way around and close on your first stitch. Round 21, I have the white yarn on my hook, and we're going to start in any corner. You've got this front post double corner here. I'm going to start in that stitch with a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet as a new corner. So in that front post stitch, that's a single, chain 1. I'm going to hook up my stitch marker here again, just to keep track of that corner. I just find it easier to be able to find my corners later, because those chain 1s between singles can be hard to see. And another single, so that's my corner, single, chain 1, single. I'm going to start the first edge. Chain 1, skipping this first single there, that's that one that's kind of in between, that single I'm going to skip, and come to the first of the two front post stitches there and work a single. Chain 1, I'm going to skip the next front post stitch, and then you've got a single crochet here immediately after. In there, work a single. Chain 1. In the chain 1 space here, work a single crochet. Chain 1, then come to the next chain space and work a single. Do this 6 more times, or 5 more times, until we're at the last chain 1 space. Chain 1, chain 1, single, chain 1, and a single there in that last chain 1 space. There. Just want to count your singles. You now have, after the corner, you've got the chain 1, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 single crochets. I'm going to work a front post double around this front post double from round 19. So around that white one. A front post double. And then we're skipping 2 stitches to the back. See how I'm skipping 2 stitches there. So you're skipping 1, 2. So the first one you're going to work into here is this single crochet. 1, 2, and 3, and number 3 falls here in this front post stitch that you worked over those 2 together. That's number 3. Now we're going to work a front post double 2 together over these 2 here. You see that one there, that white one, and this one. So these 2 front post doubles from round 19. So we're going to have to come back for the first one and then work the second one. So I'm going to yarn over. So I'm going to have to really fold my work to get behind that first one. And then take off 2 loops. Then yarn over. I'm just kind of holding on to everything that my loops don't open up too much. Go to the second one. 3 loops on your hook. And then take them all 3 off. Very important, we're not skipping any stitches, we're just immediately going to continue and work a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So immediately in the next stitch, you see there, I'm not skipping anything, immediately in the next stitch, work a single. You're going to work 3, so it's 1, 2, and here you go, 3. And this third one falls in that blue front post double. Now you won't be surprised, we're now going to work a front post double around the white front post double here. So this is your last front post double you have available. So work a front post double around that. Skipping 1 stitch to the back, that's going to be that one. We're working a single crochet in the chain 1 space. chain 1, and then we go to the next chain space and work another single. I'm going to do 7 of these. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, just move everything a bit, 4, 5, 6, and here, and then last single, chain 1, that's actually still part of the repeat. I have 2 singles left before you get here to the front post double, that is the corner. I'm going to skip the first of those singles and then go to the second, which is actually part of the corner, and there work a single crochet. Let's count our singles. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 singles. The corner, here's the front post stitch, and they work a single, chain 1, hook on a stitch marker if you want to, and then another single. This corner here is the same as the corner you started with, so go all the way around and then close on your first stitch. Round 22, I have the blue yarn, that's my color 3, on my hook again, and we're going to start in any chain 1 corner space, and in that chain 1 space I'm just going to open it up, start with a single crochet, I'm going to remove the stitch marker, a single, a front post double around the front post double from 2 rows down. So this is a corner we've worked many times before, and then another single in that same chain 1 space. Chain 1, going to skip the next stitch, that's this one here, that's actually still part of the corner, and then go to the chain 1 space and work a single in there. Here we have the 2 front post stitches that we're making up the leaf. Around those 2 front post stitches work a front post double 2 together. So around the first one, take off 2 loops and yarn over, and go to the second one, pick up, take off 2 loops, 3 loops on your hook, take them all off. I'm going to skip a stitch to the back and then work a single crochet in a chain 1 space. You can see that's really very a bit hidden. That's a single crochet we're skipping, that one there, and then you've got this chain 1 space, that's where we're going to work into. So in that chain 1 space there, work a single crochet, chain 1, and now we're doing this 7 more times. That was the first repeat, but this is a 1, going to do 7, chain 1, so in the chain 1 spaces work the singles, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochet, chain 1, 7th single crochet and another chain 1. Yeah. And now we're going to work a single crochet in the front post double here. So we're going to skip this last single, going to skip that one, then go to the front post double here and work a single crochet in there. Also going to work a single crochet in the next stitch. That's that single here, and then a front post double around this front post double from round 20, so that's the blue one there. Yeah. Skipping 1 stitch to the back, skipping 1 stitch, work a single crochet in the next. See, I'm skipping a stitch, and then work a single crochet. Going to work a front post half double around this front post double 2 together, so around that one. So got yarn over, so we go kind of around behind that entire stitch. Pick up front post half double. Front post half double. I'm going to skip 2 stitches to the back, and this is maybe a little hard to see. See, that there is the first stitch and that there's the second, so this is the stitch I'm going for. If you look here to the front, if you just count back from the front post double there, you've got this is a second single before that front post double. So you're going to work a single crochet in that stitch. Then a front post double around the front post double from round 20, so that's from 2 rows down. That's your last, in my case, blue front post double there. Then single crochet and immediately in the next 2 stitches, so not skipping anything, immediately in the next stitch. It's 1 and 2, and your second single crochet here falls in that front post double, so that's just a marker, a checkpoint for you. Chain 1 and then a single immediately here in the next stitch, so that's that stitch there, that single crochet. Chain 1 and in the next chain 1 space work a single. I'm going to do this again 7 more times, so that was chain 1 and then this is 1 single, chain 1, go to the next space, that's 2, chain 1, 3 singles, chain, 4 singles, chain, 5, 6, and that one there is number 7, chain 1, and if we now go to the, look at where we're at the moment, you've got, before, here's a chain 1 corner space, you're going to skip the next stitch, so that single crochet and then go to the single that belongs to the corner, so that's skipping that stitch and then go to the corner stitch and work that last single crochet. So you've still got that chain 1 there, remember to make that chain 1. Now you're at the beginning again, so you're going to work a corner, so here's the chain 1 space, so that means a single crochet, front post double around front post double. So I'm going to remove the stitch marker, and then in the same space you've already got that single crochet, work another. That's your corner. You can see how this corner is the same as your starting corner. So go all the way around and then you've completed part 2. When you're all done, this is your square at the end of week 2. You can see it does bobble a bit, so you could decide to block it or you could just leave it and continue, because this will help to flatten out as your blanket grows. But this is the end of week 2. To thank you for watching and hope to see you next time for part 3.